customs supergirl or super biker now. She is Akpewe Ogboru, who rode and did more than 8,000 kilometers, being the first Nigerian to bike through West Africa. She's now joined us now from our Lagos studio to tell us more about the trip and the lessons arising from that adventure. Thanks very much, Akpewe, for joining us on Newsnight, and congratulations on your feat. What were the experiences? I mean, day and night biking through the Sahara desert and through, you know, unimaginable things. Tell us.
Hello, good evening. Thank you. It was an awesome experience, and I would say that it was amazing. I started the trip and continued from Nigeria to Ghana and then proceeded all through. It was amazing to see how other African countries look like and how the people behave. And then I got to learn a lot that we are all the same people. And it was quite an amazing journey. I don't know how to put it.
Yes, really amazing indeed, Akpewe. But tell us, what was the daily routine like? I mean, for the 23 days journeying from one community, you went through West Africa, so you must have even gone through the rainforest before you start talking of the Sahara and the rest. Give us your daily outline as you traveled through those 12 countries.
Okay, on day one, I left Lagos and arrived in Ghana at Accra. And by the time I arrived, it was on a Friday and there was so much traffic, so I had to join in the traffic into the town. I was later told that Fridays are usually like that, so I rested, and the next morning I continued to Côte d'Ivoire. I didn't leave Accra early because there were some things I needed to do. So I got to the border, that's Elubo. In the evening, it was quite late, so they asked me to stay and not come into town. So the next morning, I rode to the capital, which is Abidjan. And one of the bikers from Abidjan came to welcome me, and we rode back into town together. And then the next day, I proceeded to Yamoussoukro. And then I visited the cathedral. That's the Cathedral de Notre-Dame de la Paix. And from there, I continued to Mans. I went to the waterfalls in Mans. And after that, I proceeded to Denane, which was the border between Côte d'Ivoire and Liberia. And then the next morning, I proceeded to Liberia. And as I was riding on the way, I was just thinking in my mind, like, you're riding alone on a motorcycle and you're traveling across West Africa. And then suddenly I saw a bicycle coming, and it was this person, and I had to stop. I asked him, where are you coming from? And he said that he was coming from Germany, and he was riding to Togo. And I was amazed, like, this person is riding a bicycle from Germany to Togo. Okay, so I proceeded and I continued to Liberia. I arrived at the border, and then from there I proceeded to the state capital, which was Monrovia. I passed the night there, and the next morning I continued to Sierra Leone. I arrived Sierra Leone, it was quite late, so I slept in Bo. And then the next morning I proceeded to the capital, Freetown. And then I had to visit some friends and stayed with a family friend. And then the next day again, I proceeded to Guinea-Conakry. And then Guinea-Conakry, I went into Guinea-Bissau. And then from Guinea-Bissau, I proceeded the next day to Senegal. I arrived Senegal and had to sleep at why did I forget the name of
no
this
doubt. Sorry, Akpewe, that you must have had
a
great experience, you know, in the 23 days within those 12 days, you know, I mean 12 countries rather. How interconnected, very quickly, are the borders of the countries you visited? And two, it couldn't have just been smooth ride all through. You must have encountered, you know, issues of security, whether at the border or, you know, just tell us what are some of the experiences again, very quickly.
Okay, I really didn't. It was cool or true. I think it's still the same. Like I said earlier, we are the same people, just different nationalities, but we still act the same. And most of the borders, I get there, once I show them my papers, and then they check the passport and the papers for the cars, and then I proceed. And it was only when I arrived Mali that I was told that, and that was the first place that I really was, not like I was afraid, but they said something like, "Are you traveling by yourself?" And I said, "Yes." And didn't you hear that some things have been going on around here? And I'm like, I don't know, like that road that you want to pass, if you had come here like a few weeks ago, a few months ago, I think it would have been difficult for you because they had some issues. And I was like, okay. But when I was going out, I saw that the military was out there, and I proceeded and crossed into Burkina Faso, and then to Togo, and then back to Nigeria. But basically, I don't think I was the only one on the road, because there were other travelers, people commuting from one region to the other, or from one town to the other. So it was not like only I was the only one on the road. And then another place where I got a bit scared, someone told me when I was crossing from Senegal, and they said if I was going to pass through the Tambacounda forest, that there were lions, and then they used to come out, they'll sleep on the road. So when I was passing that forest, it was 2 in the afternoon, they said that they could come out. So I was riding, and I was still looking around to see if I would see, maybe I was looking left and right, but I didn't see anything. So when I got further into the forest, I saw the forest guard, and I asked, and he said, no, they only come out early in the morning. And then I got a bit of relief, and then I continued, and that's how.
Yeah, really great. I mean, beautiful narratives there. And of course, your service has rewarded you very well. Your Controller General, so elated, Bashir Adeniyi, and he's giving you a bigger bike. And is that going to be a foray into Europe someday, crossing the Atlantic?
It has always been my thoughts to travel across, and I am very grateful to the Controller General for this generous gift. And yes, I've planned traveling to Europe, but I wanted to explore Africa first. And before I did that exploration, I had traveled across all 37 states in Nigeria, because I really wanted to understand how Nigeria is. So I visited most of the states and their tourist sites before I proceeded to travel across West Africa. So I wouldn't mind exploring Europe and other parts of Africa.
Fantastic. Well, good that your service is giving you all the support, and Nigerians will continue to support you too. Akpewe Ogboru there, the customs officer who biked and across 12 countries in 23 days. Congratulations once again.